How do twin flames heal their soul families, their bloodlines? I apologize for being slightly late. I was in the hospital. My sister gave birth to a girl, and it took longer than expected. But we are here. And this is going to be a continuation from last week's live called Reborn. So if you haven't watched that, I strongly suggest you watch that too. So from that, we gained a lot of information about karma, trauma, and also about how we heal and what our soul families and what twin flames are all about. So a quick little update, or what do you call it, recap. So I've shared before many times the triangle, right? So the triangle represents, you got God at the top, and then you got the twin flames, and then the soul family comes from the twin flames. The twin flames are the soul from which the other families, the other souls in their soul family are created. So the twin flames themselves take on that responsibility to resolve the distortions that were created by the chaos of source energy to help the soul families or the bloodline to heal. So you come as warriors to heal the bloodline, and you have to embody the toxic templates to let them go. And I'll explain why. So there's a lot of misconceptions about karma and trauma. So personal karma, family trauma, ancestral trauma, etc. that people are holding on to. They're holding on to on their souls, even though they don't need to. They can let it go. It's the guilt, it's the pain that one faces in one lifetime, either against themselves or another, of an action which they hold on to. Like in the video from last week, I explained the ring, right? Which is your soul. And in each lifetime, you choose, because Source, God, Creator, does not judge you. But in each lifetime, you choose to hold on to debris or to guilt or shame, which then causes the karma that stays with you, which doesn't have to stay with you. And lifetimes over lifetimes, that punishment that you're giving yourself is staying with you, creating karma or trauma, and you can easily let it go by defocusing on that, right? So the reason why twin flames come to help the soul family, the bloodline, is out of compassion and empathy. The chaos that has been created lifetimes over lifetimes needs to be cleaned up. There's a lot of distortions, right? So why do we have to take on those toxic things? So a lot of us go through child sexual abuse or violence, trauma, pain, a lot of distortions growing up, a lot of traumas. Why are we having to embody that to let it go? The way it works is, when we as twin flames, we can't just explain it to people. They don't understand it, especially our soul family, right? We are the soul family. The two twin flames, the masculine and feminine, from them, their soul family is created, from their soul. So they have to take on those things themselves, heal them, to show how it's done. And the soul family energetically get the codes of how to up level and resolve themselves. Since I've been back in the UK, especially my father, actually, more so than anything, being toxic, but me just having to say a few words, energetically he got the codes because of the healing being already done. And then the change and the shift is happening, right? So we must suffer to ascend. Because why must we suffer to ascend? Why is the journey so painful? Why? Pain identifies the wound, okay? So oftentimes the wounds we have, or the traumas or the karmas that we've accumulated over lifetime around our soul, which we have chosen to take because Source does not punish us, those become our blind spots, and we fail to kind of actually see them and feel them. But it's the pain, actually. The pain identifies the wound so that you're aware of it, and love heals it. And that's why we have to re-trigger the dormant wounds that are that we've held on to on our soul through lifetimes. And that is done through pain. The wounds are blind spots, and the triggers help to identify them and make them active, so you can shed them like a snake skin. Just shed them and let them go. Defocus on those and focus on where you're going. Because you don't really realize that you're holding on to all this baggage. Most of humanity is like the sleeping dead, aren't they? The DMs are sleeping dead, the walking dead. And they're reacting and reacting and reacting from all these traumas, from this lifetime, other lifetimes, from society, from family. They've picked it up, they've accumulated it on their soul, and they're not letting it go, right? So therefore, we as twin flames, we've come to like show the way, like mother and father of the soul family, to show them that, you know what, I've taken this on, I've taken on this certain trauma, but I let it go, I shed it, and you can do it too. And they pick it up through codes, okay? And then also they look at you and they see your example. It's very much like the toxin of plant medicine, of the toad or the whatever else, the medicine you're taking, helping to get rid of the medicine. So the pain itself helps to get rid of the pain. So that's when you revisit that wound, okay? Now, sometimes with family, there are a lot of toxic patterns. And even if you have shed that layer and they've got the codes, they may choose not to up level and change. There may be times when basically you're even talking to them, helping them, but they're just not getting ahead. They're choosing not to, okay? Just like most of humanity chooses to hold on to karma, trauma, ancestry, lineage issues, holding on to it, because God's source creator does not punish you or judge you or want you to hold on to it. You're holding all on to it, and most of humanity is doing this. And they can have a choice. The choice is to defocus, let it go, and focus on the truth. You don't actually need to heal. You are whole and complete. So sometimes your family may choose to stay in distortion. And that's where boundaries will have to be had. I've had to have boundaries with certain people recently and block them because they just weren't moving forwards. And some of them are even like divine feminine. Some divine feminines also refuse to do the work and stay in the story, okay, in the narrative. So yes, recapping again, showing you that triangle. So God source energies at the top. Then you have twin flames. We're going to go in more detail today though. And then from twin flames, your soul family is created, right? And you must embody the toxic templates to let them go, to show the bloodline, to heal it, to allow them to like let it go too. And that's why you have to take on the pain, because that identifies the blind spot of the wound, and then you release it. So now I'm going to go into more detail of other things now that we've kind of caught up on recap from last week. The last week I talked about source, I talked about fractals, higher self, oversoul. We didn't really get into monads much, but we'll go into that too. Okay, so I'm going to read something from wisdomofuniverse.com, and then I'm going to read something from Jen McCarthy. Okay, so we know we are multidimensional beings, right? And many of us, we will have many of us who are fractals or souls. It's the same word, fractals and souls, to live in alternative realities and timelines. According to the multiple worlds theory, the universe continuously splits into many universes by quantum observation. So when you look at the universe and you put your attention on it, it manifests and it splits. And divine source is the ultimate observer in the quantum and observes all these possibilities in realities, yeah? And that's where you have your timelines, dimensions, and all that kind of stuff. So we do the same with our thoughts when we split into different timelines and realities. There's so many out there. And quantum science confirms this mathematically, right? So we know that it's actually scientifically proven. So we are creating through our own thoughts by quantum observation, and those thoughts turn into realities. But also, alternatively, you can say that not all those things and those thoughts are playing out. Only the ones that we most focus on and we have the most possibility to happen in the timeline actually play out, because it's wherever we give our energy. So wherever we give our energy, there's multiple possibilities, but wherever we give our energy, that is what plays out. And that's why you can defocus on certain things and then refocus, because as you put your focus, it manifests, it creates, because everything is observation. Not only the universe, but also you. Feeding Mac. So not until someone watches the results, the potentiality of all possibilities remain potential. So when you focus on a certain outcome, that becomes the dominant outcome. Okay, and Bashar talks about this too. That's why with your twin flame unions and journeys, like having the doubts and the fears is creating that. Focusing on the trauma, focusing on the health conditions, focusing on the karma, focusing on the, oh, the dark entities are attacking me. It's all being created in front of you. So you can stop that. So going back to the soul network, so we all belong to a certain group. There will possibly be many fractals of us living and existing in multiple realities, multidimensionally. So we exist, obviously as source creator, we are all one, but we do exist in multiple realities. And you might be saying, oh, how does that work? And I've explained it many times before. So say, for example, you have this sheet of paper. How many dots can you create on this piece of paper? Millions, right? Those are all your incarnations or realities or timelines. So divine source or God is the creator, the ultimate one. And from there, we have the creation of, and I put this up there, the monads. And from the monads, you have the oversoul. And from the oversoul, you have the fractals, which are also known as the soul. Okay? And I'll explain why it's important to know. So we all come from divine source or God right at the top. And we fall into a monad. A monad means a unit, okay? So we've never really talked about this before, because we'll talk about monad twins as well, because they exist too. So it's a unit. So many ancient texts talk about the 144,000 souls. So what is that all about? So when you have the monads, they have 12. So under source, there's 12 monads, and under each monad has 12 oversouls, okay? Which turns out to be 144 souls that you get underneath that, which forms a single soul group. This means that we have 144,000 monads under one soul group. There will be one monad who takes care of the immediate soul family, which comprises of 144 soul extensions. So the monad is like the CEO, the top level of management. And it's basically the highest plane of existence that we basically go back to. When we go back to source, we pass through that. And we're ascending at the same time, going up to source. But at the same time, we're also descending, because we're bringing the energy from source back onto earth, and we're giving that information back and forth. We're like the souls are more like soldiers on a battlefield, giving back information to the general or the king, which is source, and source is also feeding information and guidance to us as well. Okay? So let's have a look. As the emanation from divine source, we are descending into physical reality for the experiences and the lessons we're having. We started from monadic levels of existence, and then we were fractals coming out of that, okay? So let's go on. So the monad is the highest version of yourself connected to divine source. It's the one most, just under source energy at the highest level. Okay. All right. I hope you're still keeping up with this. And that's why we are known as co-creators with God or source or the universe, because we are sending information up and it is giving information back down as well. It's almost like a computer or a motherboard, and you're sending stuff to, back up and down, or a printer and a laptop. Underneath the monad, we have something called an oversoul. And an oversoul is basically the overall soul. It's like the managing director, the manager that comes underneath the CEO, okay? And then basically it manages everything to do with the soul blueprint, timelines, purpose, lessons, etc. Takes care of many aspects of the same soul group and the cluster. All right, what else? And that's what the oversoul is also known as the higher self. And there are many dimensions or densities, but we are unaware of this. The higher self is the highest version of the self, and it is the oversoul. And then from the higher self comes the fractals or souls, okay? So in the 3D incarnation, we have a higher self closest to us, and the fractals, which are the souls. And it talks about other things. Some of this stuff is very high level, which I don't think we need fully all of it, because I want to move on to the twin flames and where that comes through, okay? All right. People talk about spirit guides, soul guides. Now, who are they first? So they are also, like you might hear about what your soul guides are through Akashic records, but they are also beings that are kind of connected to you. So it's part of your soul pathway, you could say. So you got the monad, the oversoul, and then the fractals, which are the souls. But they are basically, they could be from another soul group, branching off from the monad. So from the monad at the top, they are from that branch there, and therefore they help you, because by helping you, it helps them, because they are feeding upwards and downwards, and you're feeding upwards and downwards. So it benefits your spirit guides, the extraterrestrial individuals that are helping and guiding you to support your evolution, because as they support you, it supports them. So it's a two-way process. All right. Let's talk about the souls now. We are living in the now moment, so everything is happening now. But in the 3D, it seems like time is past, present, and future, but that's not actually the case, because everything is happening all at the same time. And everything exists in the now. The past exists in the now, the present exists in the now, and the future exists in the now. Let's find where the twin flames is. Okay, so there we go. Here we go. So, after the monad level, where you got the oversoul, after that, at this level, we are split into two halves from a single soul. They're known as twin flames. And there might be others who are on a different path, who are splitted at the monad level, who are the monadic twin. And I'll talk about monadic twins, that I didn't know much about them, but in another live. So in that diagram, source, monad, then you'll have that monad might split in two, and you'll have a monadic twin with that monad. But then you have the oversoul, and as the fractals come from the oversoul, you'll have a split, which will create the twin flame. Okay? All right. So, in our etheric body, we have 72,000 nadis. And when two humans come together in union, that's the masculine and feminine twin flame, there is a connection of 144,000 nadis coming together. So, the souls or the fractals are the frontline soldiers of the soul group. And that is why the twin flames are above the fractals, and they take on those traumas and issues in order to be able to give the coding to the frontline soldiers. That's how you do that. That's how you solve the issue. It's like a game or a puzzle. And you see that the frontline soldiers are suffering, going through a lot of stuff. So you as generals will be like, you know what, let me help you out. And this is how you do it to get them out of their pickle, get them out of their mess. Okay. So, as we move up in the higher consciousness, we apply what we learned from our spiritual journey. Fractals are the base level employees of the company right at the bottom. And the monad is like the big boss. And then you could say God is like, I don't know, the CEO or the executive. And basically, the whole cosmos is guided, controlled, and animated by a seemingly endless series of hierarchies of beings that are helping us without us even knowing. That's where you have your angelic beings and guides, etc., helping you. That's how we can see how our soul network actually works. Okay, now I'm gonna read some stuff from Jen McCarthy, who explains a little bit more about how twin flames are actually organized and the catalyst. Okay, so I'll read you some stuff. So you've got God at the top, and then obviously you've got the monad, and then you've got the oversoul, and then you get to a place where basically you get fragments. Okay, so the fractures. Okay, that's where your soul itself individuates and basically splits before it goes, back into source energy. It splits. So at that point, you create, when you split, a masculine and a feminine essence is created, and it's like two sides of a coin. So a twin flame is essentially you at the moment of creation, split in masculine and feminine, and the soul group is comprised of 144 souls. So each soul group at that top level, just under the oversoul, would have 72 masculine and 72 feminines The feminine's circle stands in the inner circle. So the feminines are in the inner part of the circle and the masculines are on the outer side of the circle and standing opposite. So your divine masculine will be the one standing directly opposite to you. But on the side of them, the person that's standing on the next to them will be known as your catalyst. They are similar to your twin flame, but not fully. And you would have had many incarnations perhaps with them to get you ready for your twin flame. So let's have a look. Monads. So you're standing in two circles. You've got your twins and twin flames, feminine, and then you've got the masculine. And the one that's next to your divine masculine will be your catalyst, helping you to get to where you need to get to. Now, the density on Earth has been very, very dense, obviously, for the last thousands of years, making it very difficult for twin flames to get into union. But now the actual energies are very conducive for us to be able to get into union. But the masculines tend to be quite sleepy, as we know. But essentially, the purpose for twin flames is to take on that energy, take on the traumas, take on the issues that their soul group have been going through. Let them go, release them, which is actually what you call healing, but you're not healing, you're actually letting them go, you're defocusing and you're focusing on the truth of who you are. And by doing so, it sends energetic codes to your soul group to be able to do the same. They're the frontline soldiers. They are created from your soul group and they need that guidance and support. No one needs saving. No one needs helping. They just need directing. They just need informing. And you do that straight away. As you heal, it passes the codes on to them, but then it's their choice to do so. And sometimes you might work with them and help them out. But again, it's their choice to do so. But if it gets to a point where they refuse to get out of their victimhood, refuse to let go of their dogma and indoctrination and traumas and perceived karmas, you may have to put boundaries and blocks to protect yourself. Yeah. So I know it's a little bit maybe all over the place, but hopefully that a little bit made more sense from what we were talking last week about in the live. So let me see what questions there are. And there's some questions about catalysts. So I don't think everyone has to meet a catalyst. I certainly haven't met my catalyst, and I don't think you need to. You may have met catalysts in past lives to ready you up. So you don't need to all meet your catalyst. Margot, hello. Let's have a look. Yes, this is a true story. When we let a part go, then others let it go too. They mirror it, your family will mirror it. You'll see them up level as well. As you quote unquote heal or let go and defocus on something, you will notice not only your twin flame does it, but their family members will do it. And then your family members will do it too, and they'll up level and they'll see you and match you eventually. So we can let go, but we also have to feel through it. Yes, you have to identify the wound because it's a blind spot. So that's where the trigger happens. Oh, there's where I'm holding on, and then you let it go. Because if you don't know that you've got these core wounds, traumas, karmas, whatever you want to call them, then if I just say I've let go, I'm not actually, don't even realize those things are hiding in the closet, right? They're kind of hiding in your soul, they're hiding in your consciousness by you holding on, and you've forgotten that they were there. You've forgotten that they are existing there. And your twin flame comes in to like shake that out of you. Oh, look, it's there. You need to get rid of it. You're doing the same. Like, look, you've kept this, you're holding on to this stuff. It's a clean out. And as you clean it out, you show your soul group that they can clean out too. Okay. Slightly disoriented because I just come from the hospital. So how can we defocus on something that lives within us but not in the 3D? So as I explained in the kind of complex version of how the universe works and how we work, there's so many different possibilities and realities all existing at once. And as you magnify or microscopically look at a certain thing, it amplifies and it gets created and it gets formed. So very easily, so I say, once you've identified that you got the thing there, you can say, I don't choose that no more. I don't want to be that victim no more. I'm going to focus on this wholeheartedly, put my attention on. And as you keep doing that, that becomes your new reality. And then you let go of that other history or story or pattern. I sent my twin flame a follow request, and he set one back for confirmation so we can both follow each other. Does that mean we both surrendered? Not the question for this live. But does it mean you've surrendered? Well, maybe you've got more closer to each other, step closer. But I'd like to stick to topic, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, I don't tend to just go on a live and just read everything as it comes up. I have stuff I want to talk about first. Are monad and oversoul also people? No, they are not, okay? Because you exist from source, which is God at the top, and then you've got, from that is created monads, and which is basically units, and from the units are created the oversoul, and from the oversoul created the fractals or the souls. And those souls then come into the physical body in the 3D. Yeah, so they're actually not people. I'm a little bit tired of the third party, but I have unconditional love. Mostly detached, love your videos. Well, I haven't met a catalyst. Not everyone has to meet one. We don't need a catalyst? No, you don't. Because if you're ready for it, you're ready for it. Does a catalyst give you a kundalini or a twin flame? Twin flame definitely gives you a kundalini awakening. The thing is, you could get a spontaneous, how do you say the word? You can have a spontaneous kundalini awakening, which can happen by yourself. And you might think that your catalyst has given it, but no, they wouldn't have done. So with a twin flame, you definitely get it. When the two halves of the soul are born into the 3D, are they born at the same time? For example, same year? No. Twin flames usually have loads of differences that you have to overcome. Place, age, religion, all sorts of things. So no. Because time is all happening at once, like I've explained in the beginning of this video, it doesn't matter where, some twin flames have like 40, 50 years difference between them. Don't we have to heal it to let it go? You actually don't need to heal anything to let it go, because you are already whole, but your soul is holding on to things from different lifetimes or this lifetime and punishing itself or punishing others by holding on. And it's like, basically imagine there's a old lady walking down the street and she's homeless and she's carrying loads of bags and loads of stuff from years and years and years ago. She doesn't need to hold on to anymore, and she's old now, and someone's offering her a nice home and offering her a place, where she can let go of all these things and be free, but she doesn't want to. She wants to hold on to all the old things and the bags, and she doesn't want to get off the street, and she wants to be homeless, right? So she doesn't actually need to do anything. But sometimes someone like that might need to have someone who talks to them gradually, helps them, coaches them, mentors them, helps her to feel worthy step by step, let go of the bags over a couple of months, and then slowly move her in. So that's where that healing happens, where people are resistant. They need that step by step because it's too big a jump. You see, the divine masculine is too big a jump sometimes for them to go from there to there, even though you could have it right now, like Abraham Hicks talks about. So oftentimes we need those way showers or people that kind of softly guide you into that alignment place of you can let it go and you can be free. Because people get attached, they get scared, they love the narrative, they love the story, they love the victimization, they love being victims. So you actually don't need to heal. You just need to defocus and refocus and stay in that place and not look back. But often people need to take a journey to get there, and that's where the healing is. All right, you want your union, very good. So the monad and the oversoul, are they clouds? So does that mean that with the hierarchy, other souls never become twin flames? So they're not clouds. So if you think about source and all that is, it's just energy, okay? And it exists beyond our 3D ability to actually comprehend. So it's just energetics. And that energy, as it splits down and comes down and it comes into more of a denser form, it kind of just creates, it like forms into different lumps. It's a bit like, the prism that you have where the light comes in and then it's the soul, godly light coming in, white light, and it comes into different fractions. It fractures into different colors. So it's like basically it's just energy and it's frequency. So they're not clouds. And do the other souls not have twin flames? Well, in my teachings, I have said that not everyone does, but some people believe that everyone does have twin flames. It's whatever you think is true. From what I've gained or what I've sought out is that the twin flames at the top of the soul group, and from their soul is created the soul family. So you have the oversoul, and from the oversoul is created the twin flame, and from the twin flame is created the other souls. So you're like the mother and father of your soul group. But that is to be disputed, you know. Some people believe everyone has a twin flame. I don't know. I'm punishing myself and others, it's true. But when I heal, my brain also changes, so sometimes I cannot let go. When do you know your masculine is awakened and ready to come forward? He acknowledges the connection, shares his love online, but has been doing this for some time. He talks about kids. So he obviously understands the connection, he's not afraid, and he is willing to talk to you about it, right? So why haven't things progressed? And does he need to awaken fully? Awakening, especially for masculines, it's a journey. They're like little babies learning to walk and crawl and then talk and eat and everything like that. It takes time sometimes, you know? And sometimes they're not going to be fully awakened like you are, but they start to learn. You think about their, like, often the DMs are completely unawakened to anything and they're just living in the matrix, thinking everything is true. So for them to completely understand and learn things is going to be a little bit, it takes time, and they might not fully get it. Whereas you are always half in the non-physical spiritual realm anyway, because of the way in which you're created as the feminine. Let it just be you. Deserve someone who chooses you, not to worry about. If you're getting telepathy when you're starting to detach, advice on you to tune their ego death out. Thank you. If you're getting telepathy when you're starting to detach, what is the advice you can give to tune it out? Thank you. I don't say detach. I say integrate. I don't say push away. I say accept. And then you don't have any problems. After 5 years of a strong bond, my DM married someone else to live a material life, but at the same DF, I can think to let go or move on with another after 1.5 years too. How can he do that and why? So you had a strong bond for 5 years. So that means you were in union, and then he's married someone else. So maybe it wasn't your twin flame. Or maybe he's got karma to do, because it doesn't make sense. You can't go from strong and then it falls apart. It's not really possible. Okay, I'm going to finish up because I have a lot of things to do. So I hope it made sense. I feel like this live was a little bit all over the place. But in short summary, you have twin flames who come on earth as warriors to heal their bloodline. They embody the toxic templates to show their soul group, their soul family, how they can do it by sending codes to let go. With family, sometimes if they don't take those codes on, or they don't look at your energy and how you do things and listen to you, you might have to put boundaries, maybe block them. We suffer because the pain identifies the core wounds that are blind spots in our body, in our soul, that we're holding on to, so that we can actually let them go by defocusing on them and not holding on to that residue lifetime after lifetime. Most souls actually are holding on and not letting go, right? And then you have God at the top, then you have monads. From monads, you have the oversouls. From oversouls, you have the twin flame, and from them, the soul group is created. So twin flames choose to fix the distortion that has been created, which is the holding on of the trauma, holding on of the karma, holding on to the pain, lifetime after lifetime, even though God's source does not judge. And you're showing your soul group, your soul family, that's how you can let it go. And I've taken it on, and I've done it, and you can do it too. And that's the purpose, really. I don't think there's anything else. I think have a ponder, have a think, have a reflection. Does it resonate? Is there anything else that you think is making more sense to you? Does this make sense? I mean, for me, the idea that everyone has a twin flame doesn't fully resonate. Well, at least the concept that everyone doesn't meet their twin flame doesn't resonate, because I don't think most people can handle it. It's very high level. Why would twin flames go through so much pain, and why are we championed to help our soul family? That makes far more sense to me. and then the whole thing with the 144,000 souls, that makes more sense to me than everyone's got a twin flame. You know, I believe that there is a sort of structured hierarchy, you could say. So see what you think. But yeah, right now the energies are quite intense, and after the 2nd of May, it should get better. So hopefully you'll be fine. After that, why does the distortion exist when the goal, what is the goal of all this learning? So like I said in my last week's video, when Source, God creator or whatever was creating, it was chaos. It was, and they created without knowing the ramifications. It was just all over the place. It was like this was happening and then that was created. And people were holding on, not letting go. People, like souls, were holding on to things from lifetime after lifetime and leaving that residue every lifetime, and it was just creating chaos. So that's why, from my knowledge, is why we are here to help our group to let it go. And that's why a lot of us experience extreme issues and pain. But I hope this serves you, and I hope you kind of delve more into it and research it yourself as well to understand why you're going through what you're going through. And it's not just about your twin flame, because when you start to have a purpose and you start having a mission and you start doing stuff for yourself, you will be less in that fearful, painful energy, and you'll be able to actually live better. Because I feel like some DFs are very disempowered and are very stuck because they don't have a mission, they don't have a purpose. They're stuck in the whole over and over again about the DM. It's way more than the DM. How to embrace the telepathy more if I want my peace sometimes. My twin and I are strongly connected all day and every day. Any tips? He doesn't listen when I want my peace. When you reject it, when you push it, that's when you will get more of it, resistance coming back to you. You have to just accept it. Open arms. I'm willing to die. Do your worst and accept it. There you go. Take care.